Hi everyone! Today I'll be sharing useful tips, ideas, and information on breastfeeding. But ultimately, it's up to the relationship between you and your child. This is my fourth child, so I've either been pregnant or nursing for about 8 years now. I have not had regular sleep in about 8 years. Somehow we still manage as mothers. We are so strong. When nursing, I'm usually off the screens, but here I'm making an exception to share with y'all. My friend went to the Philippines to visit a family there, and one of the families was nursing the 8-year-old child there. So just remember, what we do in our culture and what is done in our culture is not always what's right or what's the norm. In many noble countries, there were often wet nurses who would nurse a child up to 5 years old. This would allow the mother to become fertile earlier again and continue the heir. In other cultures, if a wet nurse was needed and a mother wasn't available, they would use goats, and the goats were so attuned and trained to this child that they would just start coming every morning or afternoon at the same hour to make their udders available to that child. And goat milk is a wonderful option instead of formula if you can afford and find that source. I just find that so amazing. So the only right way is going to be what's right for you. And the more tuned in you are to your feelings, the better you'll be able to know this. Thus, when nursing, taking that moment or opportunity to rest. I know you probably have tons to do, but just say, oh, you know what? This is telling me that I need to stop and I need to sit and just close my eyes. Maybe you can rock. Maybe you can sing to the baby or speak to your baby or just look out the window. It's really nice to have a space where you can look out the window or even be outside to nurse. You don't want to be sitting looking at your desk or your kitchen and all the things you need to do. Make yourself like a royal throne to sit on for this bonding time between you and child. If you can, nurse for a minimum of 1 year. If that's not possible, know that every time you nurse, you are serving, you are pouring an act of love into your child and into the future of our human race. If you feel to nurse for up to 4 or 5 years old, that's wonderful. Do not worry about what others say. Do what feels right for you and your child. You will have a healthy child, and they will still be able to grow into independent, young, wonderful beings with deeper roots and connection to the home, the mother. They will be able to grow stronger trees and branch out as needed. And you can nurse one side for 5 to 10 minutes, stop, take a break, and then do the other side. Some people, they might nurse one side and then they know they want to nurse on the other side for the next feeding. And to remember, some people move one ring from one hand to the other, move a clip from one side to the other, or just feeling your breast and feeling which one feels like it needs to be released. You're also going to want to make sure that you are nourished, that you're getting all the nutrients and food and energy you need. So don't hold back on your eating. Eat more. Say, I'm nursing. I need to eat more. I often eat more than my husband. I'm often sitting at the table for longer. Go at it. Definitely want to get variety, protein, fiber, vegetables, fruits, lots of water. Always have water by your bedside or by your nursing chair. When nursing your child, you also want to avoid distractions for your baby so that they can focus on the eating. You want to turn off screens or noises and phones, and maybe not be in a room where kids are running around if you can find that space. If you are wanting to stop and you feel it's the right time, or at least you want to slow down, ask yourself these questions. Are you taking this time to bond with child, to look into their eyes, to rub their hair and body? Or are you anxious and worried about all the things you need to do? How are you feeling when nursing? What opportunities does this arise for you? Does baby just want attention and cuddles? Can you find another way instead of your milk and energy supply? If you are trying to stop, you will want to have bottles readily available of either milk, water, or a mix of water and juice. Start making small boundaries, like say, this month I'm only going to nurse 4 to 5 times a day. And the next month, say, okay, now I'm only going to do 3 times a day. And the next, just for bedtime. And the next month or week, once a day. And then when you're ready, you'll know it's time. And there are people who make ceremonies out of this, and they present the baby with various different types of milks that are out there: almond milks, nut milks, oat milks, cow milk, goat milk, celebrating that this child is moving on to another phase of life, and that although it might be sad, there are other ways to find this bond and other milks to try. A little wives' tale on how to stop is making the child actually not want it anymore. And this is a little trick, but putting a little cinnamon or a little bit of pepper or ash on your nipple, and this will make the child be like, I don't want that. And they'll actually be the ones to be like, no thanks. You can also have food readily available, or feeding them more often and making sure to still give them those cuddles that they need. My almost 8-year-old now, when he wakes up, doesn't really need those cuddles that my 5 and 3-year-old need, but I still require or request a morning hug every day. I say, where's my morning hug? And he'll usually be very happy to give me a hug. But of course, if your child gets sick or hurt, nurse them. Don't worry about that boundary you put up. Just put it on hold. Nurse your child until they're better. Your breast milk is probably the best thing for them. Also, my friend, she would save her breast milk and put it in the freezer, and whenever someone in their family had a boo-boo or an earache or anything like that, she'd put it on, and she was like, I swear it's magic. It works on everything. It heals everything. So your milk is really potent stuff. You are a potent being. Use it. It's also important to find the right attire for breastfeeding. I like to have shirts that are easy for breastfeeding, but also look and feel good on me. I usually prefer to wear natural materials such as cotton and wool, but sometimes I just need something a little stretchy that will not be pulled on and lose its form and shape. So I make exceptions. And one more thing, know that the milk you're producing at nighttime is different than the milk you're producing in the morning. So keep that in mind, especially if you're pumping. Also, the milk you're producing for a newborn is different than for a little baby, an older baby, or a toddler. My other friend got pregnant and stopped nursing her 2-year-old. And when baby came, she said, now you can have some. And this helped her 2-year-old bond with that new baby. Instead of being jealous, he was able to also nurse and have milk again. And that I thought was a sweet story. I tend to nurse my children between 18 to 24 months. Often I would get pregnant and then be like, I can't do it all. I can't do both. It's a lot of energy. Some can. Maybe I could have eaten more. But anyhow, I might nurse for a couple months during my pregnancy and then stop as I've slowly reduced the feedings over time. My second child, my daughter, she, as soon as I got pregnant, was like, meh, don't want any more. And she was maybe 14, 15 months. My mother only nursed me for about 3-4 months because she had an infection in one of her boobs. So the doctor said that she should stop. And I'm like, No, that's why you have two boobs. If one of them has a problem, you nurse the other. And I often got sick more often than my brother, who nursed until about 1 year. I tend to produce more in my right breast. And my right breast has been usually larger during my nursing phase. Don't worry, it's normal. Your boobs will go back to a equal-ish size. Cool story, I had a dream one day. I nursed this little girl and I told my husband, I was like, I don't know who it was because we only have a boy. And a couple days later, my friend was trying to find milk. She needed help. Her baby was having trouble nursing. And she asked me if she can have some of my milk or nurse her child. And I was like, yes, this was my dream. The prophecy is coming true. So I went over and nursed, and it felt so natural and beautiful. And it actually helped her daughter learn how to latch onto her own mother. I really hope you enjoy this special and magical time with your baby. It's so amazing. You are amazing. If you have any specific questions, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know how your nursing journey is. I'd love to hear. And be sure to check out my videos on potty training, free birth, pregnancy, and other videos on raising little ones. All right, now go nourish yourself so that you can better serve others.